Hi, and welcome to today's reading. Today's reading is a collective reading, picking up on some energies prior to the reading, and I'm going to pull some cards. So if you're new to my channel, please like, share, and subscribe if this reading resonates with you. I do post frequently. All my readings are timeless, so whenever you've stumbled across this reading, it is because you were meant to find it, or it was meant to find you. I'm an intuitive tarot reader, so as I said, I pick up on messages prior to a reading. I will then come and use, as I said, my cards to further clarify the message. The cards that I use on my channel are my own designs because, as well as being an intuitive reader, I'm also an illustrator. So anything that you see me use in any of my readings, the decks are all hand illustrated by me. If you are called to any of them, intuitively called to any of them, the links to purchase them can be found in the description box. So as I said, I'm picking up on an energy, and what I was hearing was a last minute save by the universe. This is something it's definitely something that you're not aware of. Perhaps there has been something that's happened in your life where you have had disappointment because things haven't turned out the way that you wanted them to turn out. I was seeing the death card while I was doing setting my intentions for this reading, for the information that I was asking to come through. I saw the death card, which is number 13. It's Scorpio energy, and it's also Pluto energy. Pluto is transformation. I heard better the devil you know. Now, I don't know what that is in context to, because it's a little different from the messages that are coming through, but I'm sure it will come out through the reading. It's just started to rain really heavily today. I'm actually recording in a different location, so normally I record in the beautiful morning sunlight, but my husband's working from home this week, and so I've come into a quieter place in the house. Something's changed. The song I got was A Cinematic Plea for an End by Montaigne. Now, that's an Australian artist. I'm not really familiar with that song, but that's what was given to me. I will attach the song in the description box, and I will put within it the link to the music video. Have a look at the lyrics and have a look at the music video. There may be more messages in there. As I said, I'm not really familiar with that song. A Cinematic Plea for an End. I just did a quick Google of it, and it is about somebody who wants to walk away from something that's potentially not working for them anymore. But it may not be about the whole song. It could be just a line within there. Could even be the image on, I often find messages that come through within songs. It might be the name of the artist, could be the lyrics of the song, could be the music video, could be the album cover. There might be something significant. And the fact that I've said that, there might be something significant in the album cover. Or even if you play that song in Spotify, you know, as the song plays, it'll have some sort of moving background sort of image, like a reel that sits in the background. There might be something within that image. But as I said, I'll link it in the description box. So, a last minute save by the universe. Divine intervention is divine protection, is the other thing I was hearing. And the image that I was getting was standing on the outside edge of a baseball field. And you're standing there, you've got an ice cream in your hand. And I'm just giving you the image I was given. You've got an ice cream in your hand, you waited 20 minutes in line for this ice cream. You're just about to take a bite or just about to have a lick of the ice cream, not realizing that out on the field, the batter has hit the ball and it is hurtling at 100 kilometers an hour towards your head. Somebody dives to grab that ball so it doesn't strike you, and you drop your ice cream. And that is initial disappointment that you've dropped your ice cream, but you don't realize that it was a last minute save from the universe. Something catastrophic was about to happen that you weren't aware of. And as I was doing the pre-shuffle, the Queen of Pentacles, sorry, not the Queen of Pentacles. Why did I say the Queen of Pentacles? The Queen of Cups, which is intuition. And now it's blowing a gale. The Queen of Cups, which is intuition. So intuitively, you hadn't picked up on it. You weren't aware that this was coming towards you. Like what's that movie, Armageddon? And the universe has picked you up and moved you away. And you've dropped your ice cream. So you're disappointed, not realizing that it was saving you from something bigger. Okay, I'm going to pull some cards. And I'm going to see where we go. I just want a bit more information. This is my Divine Messages Oracle deck. Let's see what wants to come out. Walking away. It allows you to walk away from some sort of catastrophe. Maybe you are... Maybe you've been giving to something that you don't realize. In that song, cinematic plea for an end. Maybe you've been working towards something that, if you had have kept down that path, would have ended in more disappointment than just dropping your ice cream. And I'll give you an example of this. Maybe, how long have we been in this house? 10 years? 10 years maybe? We bought a block of land, and we originally, we'd put down a deposit to build a home. And one thing after another kept happening, which delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And it was disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And I had my own business at the time, and things changed financially because I was investing a lot of time and money into getting my business off the ground. And so, although disappointing, we actually had to change the house that we were building, and we had to walk away from a contract that we had with a builder, and we lost money. But it was disappointment because if you've ever built a house, you build it and then you start to dream about how each room is going to be decorated. And, I had this idea in my head. And so we built a different house, which we're still living in now. But a couple of years after, maybe 18 months, 2 years after, we walked away from the original design, which was a lot more expensive to build. Within my business, we went through a huge legal case, which we eventually won, but cost us a lot of money. If we had have built the original house, we probably would have lost everything. It was divine intervention from the universe, because our guides, our angels, our ancestors knew what was coming. We didn't see it, allowing us to walk onto a different path. Okay, let's get another one. It's a last minute save by the universe. Clearly decide what you want. I'm going to park that. I'm going to wait until more cards come out. Maybe you're making the wrong decision. Unknowingly making a wrong decision. That's what that is. You're unknowingly making a wrong decision to walk down a certain path, not knowing that there is danger ahead. And you are getting a last minute save by the universe. And if you've been guided to this reading and you're currently in that phase of disappointment, you've been guided here because the messages in this reading are about letting you know that potentially something that you'll be able to look back on and go, oh, I know why that happened. Or it'll put things into context. Let's get... Yeah, wow, enemies. Obstacles are lessons in disguise. Is the other one that wanted to come out. And a fall from grace. How interesting. This last minute save could be removing you from somebody that you don't recognize is actually an enemy. And potentially they're going to have a fall from grace, and the universe is moving you out of the way so that you're not wrapped up in this. That song, A Cinematic Plea for an End, I read through the lyrics and there was a line in there about, I know that you're talking to somebody else, which suggests to me some sort of secondary or a third party connection. And oftentimes when we're in situations where we can't recognize the toxicity in it, The universe will pull in a third party, as in pull in a temptation. Pull in a temptation for somebody that you are connected with that is a deal breaker that helps you walk away, even though there's disappointment. Okay, what else? I'm going to ask, what angel is walking with you? Number 17, Olivia, prophetic dreams and lover of the arts. I think that maybe, as I said, in that imagery of standing on the side of the baseball field, standing on the side of a baseball field with your back turned to the field, you've got no clue that this baseball is hurtling for your head. Maybe you've been getting messages, but you've not been picking up on them. Prophetic dreams and lover of the arts. The universe sends you messages all the time. All the time. Through dreams, metaphors in dreams. If you have a dream, write it down. Search up what the meaning of that dream is. Lover of the arts. Messages in music, messages in TV series, in movies. All the time, there's messages coming through that mirror what's actually happening in life. Okay, let's get some cards. Last minute saved by the universe. I'm just going over better the devil you know, enemies. You know what message I'm getting really strongly now? Really, 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 really strongly. Queen of Cups on the bottom. That's intuition. And I almost want to burst into tears. You've got somebody around you that's got the wool pulled over your eyes. If you think about somebody standing on the edge of a baseball on the edge of a baseball field with their back turned to the batter, it's because they don't see the danger. They're unaware of the danger that's sneaking up behind them. Enemies. In disguise. You've been getting messages about whoever this is. That song, Cinematic Plea for an End. Let me just look something up for a minute. Montaigne. I think that's how you pronounce it, Montaigne. This is really weird. So Montaigne means essayist, but underneath it, word of the day, seismic. There's an earthquake about to happen, and you don't know it's coming, and you've been moved away. There's something about to happen. Montaigne name meaning. French, topographic name for someone who lived on a hill or near a hill. There's some big disaster about to happen. And if you think of an earthquake, you don't know it's coming. And this could be anything. As I said, for me, it was a legal dispute. For you, it might be perhaps you've booked a holiday. And I think of, actually it's funny because 9/11 came through this morning in a reading. And I also got this, it was so weird. It just popped up in my feed on YouTube. It was about a young boy in America. And I think the video was from maybe 10 years ago. But this little kid at the age of 3 was drawing pictures of the Twin Towers, and he was fascinated by planes. But whenever his parents took him into the city, he would get very, very almost crazy scared whenever they drove around, in and around buildings. And they've got, in this video, footage of him just freaking out. And then he started telling his parents, under the age of 6 or 7, that he had died when a building came down. And then he was telling his parents that his name was a certain person's name. And in the video, they didn't mention the name, but out of respect for the family of this person. But he was telling his parents that he was this particular, in a past life, he was in a building that came down, and something had crashed into the side of it, and that his name was whatever he said his name was. And his parents looked it up, and it was the name of a man who died in the World Trade Center. And the reason I'm saying 9/11 is because I remember calling my friend on the morning of September 11, because I'd spoken to her the day before and she was in New York, and they were meant to go up the tower on that morning. And she was really disappointed because she didn't get to go. But it was last minute saved by the universe. Something that you can look back on later in life and recognize that you had angels watching over you. That's an 8. 1 and 7 is an 8. How interesting is this reading? Better the devil you know. And as I said, it could be, maybe you've booked a holiday and something happens and you have to change the time you're going or where you're staying. I know it, actually, I know a couple of years ago, my daughter and I, she's extremely intuitive as well. We pick up on things, and she was meant to go up to the Sunshine Coast with some friends, and they were meant to be staying in a particular unit complex. And I said to her intuitively, "Oh, can you tell me where you're staying? I just want to make sure." There was something that I was picking up on. And she said, "I'm not sure, Mum, I have to get back to you." And later that night, she had a dream that somebody broke into the unit complex that they were staying in. And in the end, one of the girls had to work, and they didn't end up going. But the weekend that they were meant to stay in that particular unit complex, and there was disappointment because they didn't get to go, because they've been trying to catch up for a long time. But the weekend that they were meant to stay in that unit complex, there was a massive break in there. It's that last minute saved by the universe. Even though there's a disappointment, there's something lurking that you're not aware of. Let's have a look. I want to be specific in what I'm asking. What is it that you're not aware of? Disappointment. 4 of Cups is disappointment. And I'll show you, I wrote that down. I'm going to show you. Last minute save, disappointment. How funny that comes out. But I want more. What that's saying to me, now the 4 of Cups is the moon in Cancer. Cancer is the Chariot, and the moon is what's hidden. If you had have moved forward on whatever it is that you were going to do, there would have been more disappointment than just the dropping of the ice cream. If they had have gone away and stayed that weekend and somebody had have broken in while they were there, there would have been more disappointment than cancelling the plans. If my friend had have gone up the World Trade Center on the morning of 9/11, there clearly would have been more disappointment than the cancellation of plans to go up that morning. If we had have built the house that we initially wanted to build, there would have been more disappointment when the legal case came in. What that card is saying is obstacles are lessons in disguise. There's a bigger devil lurking, is what I want to say. 4 of Cups. Okay, let's get another card. Tell me more about this 4 of Cups. The Fool. That is so funny. The Fool is Aquarius. The Fool is the 0 in the tarot. The Fool, as I said before, is somebody has you fooled, a wolf in sheep's clothing that you're unaware of. But the Fool, that card is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is the card of earthquakes. Some sort of earthquake that you don't see coming. These cards are literally coming out Exactly. I'm reading the energy that I'm picking up on is how it's coming out in the cards. That's incredible. What am I asking? Nine of Wands on the bottom, heavy burdens. Being saved from heavy burdens. I'm going to ask that, what are you being saved from? The Empress is number 3. It's Venus and Taurus. I think you're being saved. I think you're being saved from yourself. I think you're being saved from something that you are nurturing that you aren't aware has got a more sinister underlying current. Obstacles are lessons in disguise. Perhaps you've been placed in this particular lesson. If you think of the Empress, kind, nurturing, all loving, but unaware of the little cracks that enemies that people can get. Everybody wants to be around the Empress. The Empress attracts, well, she attracts good things, but she also attracts the dark. And because she attracts the dark, if the dark wants to get in, it has to portray itself as light, which makes her vulnerable. A last minute save by the universe. Yeah, which makes her vulnerable. Asleep at the wheel. Queen of Pentacles. Uranus in Virgo, Uranus again. Well, Virgo is that queen energy for me. When I think of Virgo, I think of the Nine of Pentacles, which is Mother Mary, the Empress, divine feminine. Now, you could be masculine, feminine. The Strength card, which is Leo, and the Four of Swords. What I was hearing was sleep at the wheel. Maybe you've been busy focusing on building wealth. If I think about me, you know, I was focused on building my business. We were focused on building this house. We didn't realize the Four of Swords, which is Jupiter and Libra, that there was something, this dragon, about to breathe fire on our lives. And so because we were doing all the right things, God stepped in. I've just got that saying, hidden things that are done in the dark. There will always be darker forces that want to bring down people in the light. And they rely on the fact that you are stood with your back turned to the baseball field, quietly minding your own business, eating your ice cream. It's almost like the dark has to get you in a setting where your defenses are down. But you're highly protected. Five of Wands. That's a battle. You're highly protected. Saturn in Leo. You've got people in the higher realms going into bat for you. Specifically in whatever situation this is in. As I said, that image in my head was of this man just kind of reaching out as this baseball came flying towards this woman's head, was the image that I got, and his hand just reached out. My daughter not staying in that apartment complex that weekend. Us not building the bigger house. My friend not going up the World Trade Center. People battling for you. So whatever this disappointment is, it's divine protection. Four of Cups. Let's have a look at this disappointment. Yeah, Ace of Cups. The aces are protection from the universe, was what was about to pop out of my mouth. The aces are gifts from God. The Ace of Cups is emotion. Beings, entities, angels around you that go into battle for you. Look at that, Six of Cups. Six of Cups is things from the past. People that you've had connections with that are in the higher realms going into battle with you. Those two little birds look like two little angels. And it's the truth. With the Ace of Swords. You are being divinely protected. Ace of Cups. Let's have a look at this Fool. Yeah, you are being divinely protected from a bigger disappointment. That's the Four of Cups here. Potentially from being attached to... And if I take the lines from that song, she's talking about... There's a line in this, something about, you know, I know that you're speaking to somebody else. So, for example, if you are in a relationship that hasn't gone to the next level and you find out now that that person is cheating, is it not better to have that disappointment now than when you marry that person and you realize 20 years into the marriage that they've been cheating on you the whole time? And I think of Princess Diana. And actually that popped up in my feed. There's a video of her wearing a red dress. And she talks about, it was all over the news that Prince Charles was getting on a flight to go somewhere. And she was at the airport saying goodbye to him and she was crying. And everybody thought that it was this beautiful young couple in love. And she was crying because he was leaving and she was going to miss him. What she was actually crying about was the fact that before he got on the flight, she'd been talking to him in his office or something, and the phone rang, and it was Camilla. And she said, I had the chance to say something and put a stop to it right then, or I had the chance to walking away. And she chose to walk away. And we all know how, you know, that obviously horribly played out. You're being saved. You've got angels, people guiding you, divine intervention, guiding you to save you from a bigger disappointment. Why? Because you are the Empress. In the divine's eyes, if you get divine protection, it's because you are the Empress. And you don't just arrive at the Empress. The Empress is somebody who... The Empress embodies all four queens. The Empress is divine. The Empress has a higher purpose, a higher power. And so she is protected. And as I said, masculine or feminine. This initial disappointment is meant to save you from a bigger disappointment. Because maybe you've not been aware that something much worse is coming. Okay, so we've got the Star and the Three of Cups. So the Star is destined. The Three of Cups, the Star is Aquarius. Well, and Uranus. Go back to that earthquakes. But the Three of Cups is Mercury in Cancer. You will look back on it and recognize what a blessing it was. What a blessing it was. Let's have a look at this Four of Swords. For me, that's you not being aware. You've had the wool pulled over your eyes. By an Emperor. And you can go straight back to that Princess Diana, Prince Charles. I mean, really. You've had the wool pulled over your eyes. 4, 4, 4, 4. 4, 4, 4, 3 fours is protection. That's divine protection. Strength. Let's have a look at the strength. And that's wolf in sheep's clothing. Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is Jupiter in Capricorn. This is something here that was out of balance. And it's not you that's out of balance. Something around you needed to be balanced. And in order to do that, unfortunately, you had to get pushed out of the way. As I said, that image was of this guy just kind of lurching forward to grab the baseball. And as he did, he knocks the girl over and she drops her ice cream. You had to be pushed out of the way. Strength. Let's have a look at the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, this is beautiful. Okay, so Five of Cups is that disappointment of dropping your ice cream. 10 of Cups is emotional fulfillment. When you recognize that maybe what you had been investing in, what you had been nurturing, in the end, when you look at it later down the line, you recognize that it was actually only going to bring you more disappointment. That 10 of Cups was going to bring you more disappointment. And on the bottom, the Queen of Swords, which is the truth. And the Queen of Swords is Neptune in Libra. So it's not actually. The Queen of Swords is Uranus in Aquarius. Again, that earthquake. But it's a truth. Within the disappointment, there is a truth. Do I want any more of those? No. I'm going to get a couple more angel cards. See what else wants to come out. Success, 4-4. Look at that, 4-4. These angels are successfully protecting you. Number 28, health and longevity. Health and... You imagine a baseball to the head? Oh, that could kill somebody. You imagine my daughter and her friends going up and staying at that apartment complex? Health and longevity. Something that's going to save you in the long term. A blessing in disguise. My friend had have gone up the World Trade Center that day. A last minute save by the universe. There we go. 51. Hasia. Mysteries of life. Maybe you didn't realize how protected you were. And 61, Humor Bell, confidence. Once you actually, if you're coming to this reading and this has already happened, and you can look back and you can go, wow, I do have a guardian angel. It gives you that little piece of confidence that maybe you can trust your intuition a bit further, a bit more than you have been. As I said, you may have been getting messages about whatever this bigger disappointment could have potentially have been, but you may not have been picking up on it. And so therefore the universe has to kind of boost you out of the way to keep you clear of harm's way. And maybe part of that lesson is to give you the confidence to trust in your intuition. That song title, A Cinematic Plea for an End, suggests to me that she was looking for an ending, a plea for an ending. Intuitively, maybe looking for a plea from an ending because she'd been picking up on stuff. A wolf in sheep's clothing is in disguise because you're not meant to see that they are the enemy. What's the potential outcome here? Let's have a look. Wow, the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is Mars in Pisces. Illumination, the Sun. Wow. And the Chariot. It's an illumination that makes you realize and allows you to move forward to your proper destination, not to where you thought you were going, but to your proper destination, because you now realize that you are protected and what the divine has for you. What is your actual 10 of Cups is protected. And maybe you were just on the wrong path. Yeah, Two of Pentacles. You were on the wrong path. Jupiter in Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a lesson. Jupiter is luck. A lucky break that comes across as a disappointment that actually puts you on, highlights, sheds light on the proper, the actual direction that you were meant to be going on. Okay, let's get a node of Destiny deck. Now, currently, the North Node is in Aries and the South Node is in Libra. The North Node, Aries, that axis between Aries and Libra is the axis between self, Aries, and others, Libra. So it's walking forward on your own path, walking away from things that don't serve you, from it's unknown enemies, really. The North Node in Capricorn. If your North Node rocks a Capricorn vibe, get ready to be hailed as the MVP for your go-getter spirit, inquisitive mind, gut instincts, and caring ways. Your cosmic mission to conquer independence and rock that self-made crown. Trust your inner compass and unleash your superpowers. The world is your oyster. That is exactly what I just said. You are meant to be, when I go back to this Queen of Pentacles here, the Queen of Pentacles is single, independent, and free. She doesn't rely on anybody else. She builds her own success and her own health and longevity. She drives her own chariot. She is her own sun. She creates her own 10 of Cups. Perhaps you thought that you had to have somebody else with you to create that. And maybe you're meant to share it with somebody else. But whoever you are connected to wasn't meant to be that person. Let's have a look at a moon oracle. Waxing like a Cheshire cat, the moon whispers, believe in your wildest dreams. Now, the Cheshire cat is a bit of an illusionist, isn't he? Kind of, what does he do? Fades in, fades out, fades in. Enemies. A wolf in sheep's clothing. I wonder if that song has got a music video. A cinematic plea for an end. Get ready for some serious cash flow. The Taurus full moon promises prosperity galore. It's interesting, actually, because if I go back to my story of, having to change the plans of our house, and then, we ended up in a legal dispute. We trademarked my business and somebody came in and challenged that trademark, and we won in the end because we were in the right. It was just somebody an enemy. It was somebody trying to take something that wasn't theirs. And in the end, through that whole, essentially by the end of it, I was emotionally, physically, financially drained from the whole experience. And I actually just decided to walk away from my business, and we closed everything down. And it was very, very disappointing walking away from this dream that I had in my head of how things were going to be. But what ended up happening was all of the skills that I learnt within creating and running that business, I then applied to help my daughter start her business, and have been also applied in my newfound love, which is being an intuitive tarot reader. It's all part of this journey that back 10 years ago you weren't aware of because it was hidden. But it's now this beautiful, for me, this beautiful 10 of Cups. A last minute save by the universe, which ends up being a blessing. And on the bottom, join the adventure, cardinal moon, blaze those trails like a boss. Okay, now these are love messages. If this is a situation that you are in with somebody else, or that you have been in with somebody else, where there has been disappointment, take those messages, take the messages that come out as from them. If not, it could be messages from your higher self. I'm only going to get a couple because when it is not necessarily a love reading, it tends to get a bit confusing, but I'm being called just to get a couple. Don't listen to others, just listen to your heart. I want to make amends. Now that came up upside down. That's that person. This wolf in sheep's clothing. Follow your gut is what I want to say. Why? Because that person is a karmic connection. Obstacles are lessons in disguise. Put in your life as initially as something that is good, something that is a blessing, but it's not. I don't want to listen to other people anymore. I'm going to get 2 more. You are the love of my life. 5 of Cups here. And I'm feeling vulnerable. I miss you on the bottom. That I'm feeling vulnerable is when you have that disappointment. That person, whoever this is, once they recognize that you are walking away, if this is a relationship, they then feel vulnerable because they don't have the power anymore. Part of their fall from grace is they don't have the power anymore. Now, I'm not going to get a song. I'm just going to get some Scrabble tiles. I'm seeing the word wounded. Might be you feeling wounded after this disappointment. Certainly, whatever you've been saved from is a bigger wound. A long-term wound. I guess all you need to know is that literally you are so protected. So we have a G. Oh, now I can see a G and a 2. An O. Now, that was standing up. When there's tons of cards on this table, they shouldn't really stand up. But it's standing up for a reason. And I always say when they're stood up like that, there's a special meaning behind that letter. And I'll tell you what it is. Look at that. You are protected. And I said that before those tiles come out. You are protected by a higher power. A and a 1. An S and a 1. And I just heard as above, so below. ASX, Australian Stock Exchange. Might have something to do with finance. Did we have that? The Ace of Pentacles. No, I think that was in a previous reading. Did we? Something to do with finance. AQ. I was just thinking Queen Camilla. You were the love of my life. And she was all along, when you think about it. A C and a 3. A QC is a Queen's Counsel. Some sort of legal battle. Or something legal that you're either in, that you're having disappointment from, or that you have been saved from further disappointment in. Maybe you've chosen to walk away. An R and a 1, a V and a 4, and a B. An RV is a recreational vehicle. Walking away. But I think, as I said before, you know, even though we won that legal battle and we won convincingly, to the point where that case is now used as a reference in many of the trademark disputes. The disappointment of it all, we walked away. ASX, Australian Stock Exchange, we built something better. Obstacles are lessons in disguise. We built something better from the lessons that we learnt in that situation. If I think about my daughter and, the dream she had about, somebody breaking in while they were staying there, she learnt the lesson of being able to trust her intuition. Some sort of higher power at play here. And you've been guided to this reading because you're meant to get confirmation that you can trust your instincts. My instincts are telling me to get you one final card. Now this is for my instincts are telling me to get you one final card. Now this is from my older Lovebirds Tarot deck. And look at that. That card's upside down. I'm going to have a look at this card first. This card here, the Queen of Cups. So it's guided to get you one last card. On the bottom, the Queen of Cups, trust your intuition, which is exactly what I just said. I had the intuition to pick up this deck. And on the bottom, the Queen of Cups, which is me telling you to trust your intuition. That's the first card. Six of Swords is moving on to calmer waters. That is last minute saved by the universe. The universe moving you on to calmer waters because something catastrophic. We've had Uranus come out so many times. Uranus. Mercury in Aquarius, that card. Something is coming that you're not aware of. Now this card on the back is upside down. I don't know why it's upside down. 10 of Wands, look at that. 10 of Wands is heavy burdens, okay? Upside down, you don't know that there, if you stayed where you were, there's heavy burdens coming. And so you've been moved along. Because either you weren't aligned with your intuition, or it was meant to be a lesson in intuition. And now that you know that you are protected by God, you can trust your instincts. I'm going to get one more. Anything else? One more. It's a gift from God, the Ace of Pentacles. How beautiful is that? You've been given a gift from God. Okay, that is where I'm going to leave it. I think I've given you all the information that you need. Confidence, trust your intuition, that you need. In whatever scenario this is for you, whether it's playing out, it's already played out, or it's coming. Whenever you find this reading, you're meant to find it. It's kind of one of those readings where, and I often have this, I've got a couple of readers that I follow, and I will have watched a reading 2 or 3 years ago. And it's got things in it and I think, oh yeah, that resonates. But all of that other stuff isn't for me. And it's starting to happen now. Those same readings that I know that I've watched are popping back up in my feed from 4 years ago, from 3 years ago. And I watch them again and I recognize all of the stuff in there that it didn't make sense at the time. But now I go, I get it. This is one of those readings you're meant to save and have it pop up again and watch it again. There's many layers in here. Many, many layers, and many layers that I haven't picked up on. Little subtleties in here. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this reading allowed you some confirmation on things that are happening in your life, gave you some clarity. If it did, give the reading a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you are interested or called to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you again in another reading.